Welcome to Sunday Stretchies. I'm your host, Kiera. Remember, we do Sunday Stretchies to prepare our bodies and minds for the upcoming week. It's 20 minutes of stretches that I'll lead you through today. We've got a new placement for the mic. We're going to see how this goes in terms of how good it sounds or how bad it sounds. We're on a journey, okay? Not all microphones sound good. Not all mic placements sound good. So let's get 20 minutes on the clock and we will begin. We're going to start standing up today. Big inhale. Ooh, my abs are sore. I did a bar class yesterday. That was new to me. We're going to go ahead and tilt over to the side. This bar class was new. It was very challenging. I just feel myself sore from it today. Go ahead and do flat back this direction. You want your nose pointing towards the ground. So we're not craning our neck up like that. We're relaxed. And let's drop all the way down to the foot. You'll feel the stretch behind your knee, maybe in that hamstring a little bit. All right, come on up. Typically I do a big inhale on that one. Oh, and we'll go to the other side. Goodness, I'm feeling that soreness today. Do a flat back. Again, feeling this stretch behind my knee and down. So my legs are straight when I'm in this position. They are not bent at all, but if that's uncomfortable for you, you can add a little bend. If that stretch feels a little too intense, no problems at all there. And we'll come up. Let's do flat back to the center. We're going to stop right there. I'm going to look down at the ground. My knees are straight, but if that's painful, you can do a gentle bend in them like this. Arms can be straight out in front of you. I like that because that gets my back a little bit. If that's too much, you can put them behind you. Rest your hands on your bottom. And we'll come all the way down to the ground. Again, letting that head just relax. Maybe you shake it a little bit left and right. Your head no, nod your head yes. And we're feeling this stretch quite a bit in our hamstrings and behind the knees. I'm going to pitch forward a little bit and put a little bit of pressure on my hands, kind of walking my hands forward. This is like a very wide-legged downward dog. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit here so I can get a stretch in my calves. Super gentle bend. This is a pretty awkward position, so no worries if you're not able to bend your knees very far. Okay, let's walk those hands back to the center. Turn those feet out, and we will drop our hands down and use our elbows to push our knees apart. Remember, we like a nice tall spine here, really straight spinal position. And as always, I'm going to rock a little bit side to side to distract myself from this stretch. I also think it's a good practice because it's using your stabilizer muscles in your legs when you do a little bit of movement while you're doing your stretch. And I'm pulling my shoulders down away from my ears, not slumping up like this. Really strong. All right, let's come out of that. We've got my feet now in parallel. Oh, another good stretch. The knees. Ooh, I'll come all the way up. All right, I'm going to turn to the side. I'm going to take one foot in front, one foot in back. I'm also just realizing I've lost two of my lights. So that means we're probably pretty shadowy. Let's go ahead and fix that right now. I'm not sure what happened there. There we go. Okay. Take one foot forward. My gosh, does my top match my mat? I didn't plan that. That just happened. Let's go ahead and squat down into a lunge. If you push back onto your back foot, you'll get a nice stretch in your calf. My front foot is sickled in a little bit. It's not on purpose, just happened to be where it landed. You can be nice and parallel, or you can sickle it in just a bit, but we want to make sure we have a nice strong foot. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop to the side. Now, I'm not very flexible in my ankles, so my heel comes off the ground when I do this stretch. Some people are pretty flexible with that ankle and are able to Keep that heel on the ground. And if you actually scoot your foot out a little bit, you might be able to do it. My knee bends in quite a bit when I move my foot out. So we can do a pointed toe, a flex toe. When I flex my foot, my heel comes off the ground. And you're going to feel this stretch in your inner thigh. Okay. Stand up. Woo. Shake that first leg out. Shake it out, shake it out. Switch to the other side. Whoa, get our balance. Starting off, we're in a lunge. Pushing forward and back. When we push back, we feel that stretch in the calf. All right, let's flip to the front. So I've got my foot flexed in this position. If I point my toe, my entire leg shifts a little bit to the right because I'm going over my heel to get there. So that might adjust the way that you position yourself a little bit. And as I did with the other side, I'm going to move my foot out, try to keep my heel on the ground, which I can do if I point my foot. Ooh, not quite, not quite. This one's tough for me. Much more flexibility when I point my foot than when I flex. All right, come on out of that one. Feel free to use your hands when you come out of these stretches. You want the extra challenge of bringing yourself out of the stretch by not using your hands, that's totally okay. All right, let's bring those feet together. I'm just gonna heel toe, come together. I'll turn sideways so you guys can see this a bit better here. Woo, okay, so my head is relaxed. And I've got my fingertips on my mat. You've got more flexibility in your forward fold. That's awesome. Go ahead and lay your palms perfectly flat. We still want to keep the head super, super loose though. So we're not trying to look up. We're just loose. And I'm just popping one knee, and then popping the other knee. And this is a very strong stretch behind the legs. You can really feel that. I'm going to go ahead and bend my knees, squat down, pick my heels up, and then straighten my legs, and then bend, and straighten. I'm not sure if you can hear the Rice Krispies in my knees or not every time I do this. Alright, let's go ahead and have a seat on our mats. So get down in whatever way is comfortable for you. Flex those feet, point those feet, flex, point. Nice. We're going to go ahead and lie down on the mat, and we're going to take one foot to our chest. By foot, I mean knee. Let's circle the ankle of the foot that's up. Do 3 or 4 rolls one direction, 3 or 4 rolls the other direction. The other foot can just be relaxed. Don't need to lock up that knee or anything. All right, let's go ahead and grab the ankle. Same foot, and pull it towards us. If you'd like to take this a bit further and push down very gently on your bent knee. I can feel this stretch in my hamstring down here. My hip. Nice. Bring that knee back up, and then we'll go out to the side. Oh, Mr. Bridger Cat's here. Okay, switch knees. Bring that other knee up to your chest. I like to lace my fingers and hold my knee that way. Roll that ankle 3-4 times one direction. 3-4 times the other direction. All right, so grab that ankle. That foot up. And I'm pushing very gently on my knee on the outside. If it's uncomfortable for you to have your neck or your head just flat on the mat like this, you can grab a little pillow and put a little support under your head. Sometimes I'll use this yoga block for a little pillow. If I don't like how my head tips back a little bit like this, so I'll do a little pillow. I'll use a yoga block or sometimes my bender ball. Let's take that knee out to the side. So if you need any props, don't be shy about that. This is supposed to be a relaxing stretch, nothing that causes too much discomfort at all. All right, let's bring, ooh, my hip popped. Bring both feet down. We're gonna go into a seated figure 4 stretch. I guess this is more like a lying figure 4 stretch. So you're gonna take one leg, cross it over the knee of the other, and you're gonna reach through the 4, and you're gonna grab behind your thigh. And you're gonna pull, I don't even have to pull very hard, I'm just letting my body kind of relax, and you get a nice stretch in your hamstring of the leg that's on top. This is one where you're really utilizing your neck strength. So if it's more comfortable for you to lie your head down, totally okay. And let's go ahead and switch legs. Oh, I can feel much more stiffness in my hamstring on my left leg than my right. All right, so we'll come out of that one. Go ahead and unlace your fingers. We're gonna switch to a pigeon pose. First, we're gonna do a downward dog, and we're gonna pedal our feet up. So get into a downward dog pose, however is more comfortable for you. And I love to just pedal my feet like this to get a stretch in my calf. I feel like my calves, hamstrings behind my knees, always super tight. Okay, and now because well, it doesn't really matter what foot you choose to do. I'm gonna face the camera for this first one. So I'm gonna take my left foot and bring it forward into the pigeon pose. Now again, I'm not a crazy flexible person, so when I'm in pigeon, I'm not able to get my shin perfectly flat on the ground. I'm not able to get it in a nice 90-degree angle. I'm not even able to get my back hip on the ground. So a lot of times I'll use a prop for this. I'll use a bolster or a yoga block or a little pillow to sit it underneath my hip so it's a little more comfortable. So do whatever's comfortable for you here too. Right now I'm just going to use my hands to push myself up a little bit because that stretch is a little too intense if I take my hands away. But if you're up for the challenge, you can also take your hands down, and that feels a little bit different. And as always, I am rocking a little bit as I do this to distract myself from the stretch. Now, some people might argue that this is a mind over body situation, right? Your body is not the one that's struggling, it's your mind. And that very well may be true. You know, a lot of us struggle with a mind-body connection, myself included, a mind-muscle connection. So sometimes it's good for us just to face those challenges head on and say, you know what, I'm not going to rock around today. I'm just going to sit there in the stillness of this position, and I'm going to deal with whatever comes up as a result. If that's what you're in the mood for today, go for it. Okay, let's sit up. Go back into downward dog. Ooh. Time check while we're at it. We've got about 6.5 minutes left or so. Okay, let's take that other leg forward into our pigeon pose. Again, I'm using my hands to keep myself a little more upright. And just as I mentioned on the other side, if you need a little prop to put under your hip, if you need a little prop to put under your knee as well, like a blanket or just something soft, because I can feel the pressure on my own knee right now, just sitting here like this. So if it's more comfortable for you to have something underneath your knee, definitely grab that. I want this to be such a relaxing experience, not super uncomfortable. Okay, we're gonna come on up, go back into our downward dog. Pedal the feet. Let's come down into all fours. Start with a little bit of cat-cow. So first, let's get our position. Kind of wiggle your hips a little bit, wiggle your shoulders. We want to try to have a nice neutral spine here. So we're not kind of sagging and arching our back down like this, and we're not curving our back like this. We want to find what a nice neutral position is. Now when we're in this position, we also want to think about kind of pulling our abs in. So that doesn't mean suck it in. That just means have a little bit of a tightening there. Have a bit of an awareness for your stomach muscles. So let's move into our cat-cow. So now we are going to arch that back and go the opposite direction. Oh wow, you'll feel a really good stretch in your lower abs with this one. I love to add breath with it. I think that really helps. Let's do one more. And return to a neutral spine. Let's go ahead and back up a little bit and we'll take a quick child's pose here. Hear any squeaking? That's my floorboards in my living room. Partners are walking around up there, so we can hear that in our basement studio. It's an old house, so lots of squeaks. Woo. If you move your hands to the right side, you'll get a really nice stretch in your left lat. Move those hands the opposite side. Oh, yeah. Okay, come back center. One final breath here. Beautiful. Let's come up. I want to do a little forearm stretch here. So let me face you for this one. We've got about 3 minutes left. So we're going to be on all fours. But we're actually going to turn our palms so our fingers are facing our knees. Now, don't force this. If you're not able to turn your hand completely around, that's okay. Part way is fine as well. But in this position, we're actually just going to send our hips back behind us ever so slightly. It's such a subtle movement. I'll turn sideways so you can see this well. So I'm just barely moving. And I'm getting a really good forearm stretch here. I feel like we often forget about our forearms. We stretch our calves, our quads, our hamstring, our glutes, blah, 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 but how often do we really get a good stretch in our arms and our hands, other than the usual across the body over the head? Okay. Back forward. Nice. Go ahead and sit crisscross. Nice and tall here. Let's do our head. We'll go side to side, ear to shoulder. Go at your own pace. Doesn't need to be super quick. One more. Okay, come back to neutral. Now let's take our chin to our chest. And then we'll take our chin up to the ceiling. And chin to chest. Down. Now let's make a very slow, controlled circle. Whichever direction you want to start in is just fine. You might feel some snaps, popples, cracks. Crackles and pops. There we go. You can figure out why it sounded weird. Now very gently, let's reverse. Go the other direction. Let's bring that head up very gently. Let's take our hand and stretch. I'm still sitting fairly tall. Oh, there's our 20-minute timer. I'm still sitting fairly tall here on my mat, so trying to keep my spine pretty tall so I don't curve into that shrimp curl. Now let's very gently take both hands and we'll take the head down to the chest just for a moment. And last one, the ceiling. Take a few deep breaths. Just rest your hands on your legs. All right, you did it. Ready for the upcoming week? Good job. We'll see you next time.